This really has got my wheels churning after writing this chapter, and it's called The First Creation. I think you'll agree it's going to be an interesting one. What do we really know about the earliest recording of the first man and woman? Now let's start out with a question. Were they not blessed to increase and multiply to fill the earth? The religious foundation would become vexed if we were to claim this was not the Adam and Eve story as it was set in the Garden of Paradise, but the very first Gentile to roam the earth. And God in Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them, saying, increase and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it. Okay, that much we know. And rule over the fishes of the sea, and the fowls of the air, and all living creatures that move upon the earth. In chapter 2, God creates an Eve for Adam. And they were not created to multiply, but free to roam in their innocence in paradise. Through the temptation by the serpent, Eve and Adam will eventually sample the forbidden fruit God commanded them not to eat. So in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16, and he commanded him, saying, of every tree of paradise thou shalt eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat. Genesis 2:17. For in what day soever thou shalt eat of it, thou shalt die the death. So Eve succumbs to the serpent's temptation, and both of them disobey God's command and eat the fruit. They will learn of their nakedness, and Eve will now be punished to know of pain and suffering through childbirth, and Adam will work for their sustenance while being driven out of paradise. So we begin in Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. To the woman also I will multiply thy sorrows and the conceptions. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Now she's going to bring forth children. And thou shalt be under thy husband's power, and he shall have dominion over thee. Genesis 3:17. And to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree whereof I have commanded thee, that thou shouldest not eat, cursed in the earth in thy work, with labor and toil shalt thou eat thereof all the days of thy life. Genesis 3:18. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herbs of the earth. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return to the earth, out of which thou wast taken. For dust thou art, and into dust thou shalt return. Our naysayers claim there was a double back to clarify what was to happen in the creation of Adam and Eve. That's just nonsense. We can't deny these points of interest are in chronicle order. Other Gentiles were here before the Adam and Eve story. We dance around these subjects for too long because our earliest teachings would have us admit to errors, leading up to more criticism from the church's critics rather.